So a couple of episodes ago I ran into a small problem. My doors won't close anymore, and that's because I've fitted the GC fabrication door bars and I've got a Mark II, so the door cards are a bit bulkier than the flat Mark I ones, which is causing interference and I can't close my door. So today I'm going to be doing a few upgrades to the doors. I've got some custom door cards from Track Card Door Cards, I've got DELRIN window bushes from Moss Europe, and I've got DELRIN door bushes from SKIDNATION. So it's really easy to remove the door cards, but it is different between the Mark I, the Mark II and the Mark 2.5. So I'm going to show you how to do the Mark II. It's quite simple. There's just 3 plastic poppers and 3 screws. So there's 1 plastic popper up near the tweeter, 2 plastic poppers in the door shut, there's 1 screw up here in the door handle, 1 screw in the door pull, and another one down here underneath a little bit of fabric. Before you rip the door card off, you do have to take out the door handle surround, and that's easily done. Pull the door handle as far open as it will go and pull the front. Now the door card is ready to come off. If you have got a Mark II, remember the tweeter up the top here is going to be connected with a wire, and it's quite a short wire, so you will break it if you pull it too hard. But now to remove the door card, it's just held in with a couple of plastic poppers and hooked in the top where the window is. So if you pull it from the bottom and push it up and disconnect the tweeter wire. Now I want to gain access to the window mechanism, which is behind this plastic sheet, and to do that we first have to remove the door handle and this door pull support. Now we can take off this plastic weatherproofing, but the stuff that sticks the weatherproofing to the car is really sticky, so make sure you don't get it on your clothes or in your hair. I'm going to go ahead and remove these brackets now. They're not needed anymore. They used to locate the plastic pop pins that went in the side of the door card. I'm going to remove the speaker as well, as that's not needed anymore. There's not a hole for it in the new door card, and why would you need a sound system if you've got a good sounding engine? Hopefully. Now to remove the window. We need it about halfway down so you can see 3 bolts here. Now to do that, simply just turn your ignition on and push the window switch. But I don't have a battery in the car at the minute and none of the wires are connected. Luckily, the previous owner has probably changed the window regulator and the new one hasn't come with a plug, so I've got access to the wires. So I'm just going to force feed power to it. So now you should be able to see the 3 bolts here, here and here. They just need to be undone. Now, to allow the window to come completely out, we need to remove the window stoppers, which are here and here. Just a little bent bit of metal down in there which stop the window coming all the way up. It's a good idea to mark where these bolts are, as they are in a slotted hole and they do need to be aligned to allow the window to go up to where it needs to be, but not too far. You're going to want to remove this end bit of rubber, as this is going to stop the window coming all the way out. Now, if you've done everything correctly, you should be able to just carefully pull the window out. The last thing to remove is the rail inside the door. This is actually where the window bushing goes up and down and slides inside. It's really easy to take off, one nut at the top and one underneath. So those of you that own MX5s probably all suffer with the same problem, and that is with the windows going up and down. Most of the time they'll go down half the way and go really slowly, if not get stuck, and some of them will just rattle about when you go over bumps. And that is all caused by this rail and the window bushing. Most of the time when you come to these, they will be completely bone dry, which causes the bushing to stick inside it and not move anywhere or move really slowly. The other problem is with the window bushing that is attached to the window, which slides up and down in here, sometimes breaks in half, or expands, swells up and seizes in this rail. So I'm going to start off by cleaning this rail completely out of what little lubricant there is left, which, if you can see, is just pushed all the way down to the bottom and is a hard lump, and everything up here is dry. So I'm going to clean that and re-lubricate it and put it back into the car. So I'm going to start off by removing what grease there is left in this. Now I'm going to take a little bit of brake cleaner and clean the rest out. And now apply a really good helping of new grease. I'm going to be using silicone grease. Now it's all clean and freshly lubricated, the rail can go back into the door. Now to replace the window bushing. It's quite clear to see which one it is. It's the very dirty one. Don't remove the window stoppers, which are the clean white ones. The bushing that I've got on my window isn't in that bad a condition. I have seen them before where they are split, but I'm going to be replacing it anyway. And to remove that, it's just a T30 Torx drive. Now what I've got to replace this window bushing is a DELRIN window bushing from Moss Europe, which consists of 4 bits. The window bush itself, the crinkle spring washer, a nylon washer and an optional steel washer. Now to know whether you need the steel washer or not, simply put the window bushing side by side, put a level across the top. If the new window bush is slightly shorter, you're going to need the steel washer on top here. So to assemble it, all you need to do is put the crinkle washer on first, and then the nylon washer, and if you need it, the steel. And that simply fits in the reverse order that it came out. Now the window is almost ready to go back in, but before that goes in, while it's out, it's easiest to lubricate up the front runner, which is advised only to use a bit of silicone spray. Now it's time to put the window back in. If you are using the Moss Europe window bushings, the two washers, the nylon one and the crinkle one, need to be pulled that way towards the back of the window bushing. Now to test it and make sure everything's working smoothly. Now there was a problem with this. If you've got a keen eye, you may have seen it. If you did, leave it down in the comments below. Now onto the new door cards. So to replace my big bulky Mark II door cards, I've got a set of custom door cards made. I purchased these from Drift Door Cards. And there's a couple of different options that you could go for. I've gone for the Mark II bottom with the Mark I top, just to finish that look off a little bit. There are different options of finishes to the door card and you can get them pre-drilled or not. But there's just a few steps into fitting these. So the first thing you're going to want to do, if you have got the Mark I tops, is to grab an old Mark I door card. And at the front end of the door card, we just want to take out some of the staples that connect the top part of the door card to the bottom. And then carefully just peel the lower part away, it's just a little bit sticky. Now you want to remove these two bits, which are a bit of moulded plastic, which you just need to carefully chip away. Now there's just 5 screws along the top, which is holding this all together. Keep these screws as we will be reusing them, but now you can simply pull the top part away from the bottom. Now these do require a little bit of modification to be able to fit the door cards. This front tab with the plastic popper in it, that needs to be cut off nice and flush and flat. This little pin here, that also needs cutting off, and these two stays need to be just ground down a little bit. So I'm just going to use a cut off wheel on a Dremel to do that. Now I can take the new door card and fit it to the Mark I top. I've got all the correct holes to line them up and reuse the screws. Yes, I have already lost one of the screws, but the door card is now ready to go on the car. There's just a couple of things we've got to do to the car door first. You have chosen to have a speaker hole in your door card. The speaker now needs to go back in, but I've chosen not to. So now it's on to fitting the door pull, if you've gone for that option. Now the door pull needs to go into this hole here where the old door pull was. Now you can use this yellow bit of plastic, but the thread is pretty poor in mine, so I'm going to be taking that out and just bolting it straight into the door. So I've gone for a nice blue door pull, and they have supplied the bolts and washers to go with this. Now with the door pull in place, I can fit the door card itself. Just carefully feed the door pull into the slot provided. Hook the door card over the top of the door, then fit the door handle surround. This is going to help locate the door card so we can drill the holes that we need to. So now I'm going to take a Sharpie and mark out all the holes that I've got in the door card. Now with all the holes marked, we need to drill the holes. In the instructions they say to use a 9.5mm drill bit. Now to fit the rubber nuts that are provided in the kit. Now to fit the weatherproofing plastic. Refit the door card. Now to fit all the bolts and washers in the Mark II kit. This hole here needs an extended bolt, and it also comes with a plastic spacer that fits between the door card and the door. So that is the door card fully installed. I'm really impressed with these door cards. They're simplistic and almost look OEM. I'm really glad I went for the Mark I tops on these. I think it really finished it off. Now hopefully, because it's got rid of the Mark II bulky end to the door card, I can close my door now and I won't be smashing my elbow on this anymore when I'm drifting. Well, that's a bit of an improvement. I can actually shut my door now. Now it's onto the door bushings. So now for the door bushings. They are located at the back of the door, one either side, and I'm going to be replacing these squishy old rubber ones with DELRIN ones from SKIDNATION. So I'm going to be removing these and I'll show you why you need to upgrade the door bushings. Really simple to remove. They are just two 10mm bolts. So now on the door, this is the cup where the door bushing sits in, and as you can see, the old one slides in really easy and you can rattle it about, whereas the new DELRIN one slots in really snug and no movement at all. Now because these are such a snug fit, hopefully it's going to eliminate all the door rattle, and believe it or not, it's going to stiffen up the chassis by connecting the door better to the chassis. Fitting the new bushers is quite easy. They come with slotted holes, so what I'm going to do is bolt it up with the bolts provided, but I'm only going to nip it so I can still move it. So these slotted holes are going to allow us to align these to our door. So the idea is you just nip them so they will barely move, and then close the door, make sure it's all aligned, open the door back up and tighten the back up again. So the door feels a little bit different now to open and close. Feels a bit stiffer closing it, and you feel a sort of suction when you open it because of the tight fit in the cup. So that's the doors all upgraded. Everything I've put on today is in the description down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and join me next time where hopefully, if I've got the parts, I'll reveal what I found out is wrong with this door.